Yeah, those search and rescue teams are already either on the ground or on their way, and that's because Turkey requested to activate the EU's civil protection mechanism. So these teams are urban search and rescue teams. They're specialized in finding people trapped in rubble, identifying really those urban areas. Those teams are coming from France, from Greece, from Bulgaria, Croatia, Czechia, Poland, Netherlands, Romania, and Malta. Other countries have also offered their assistance and are waiting to see where they're best needed. For Italy, Germany, here in Belgium. Italy has also offered its assistance. That's really key because Italy is very used to dealing with these type of earthquakes, and they have a lot of very specialized search and rescue and earthquake response teams. And in fact, Italy had a tsunami warning overnight. That's how close they are to the center of this earthquake. Now, also, the EU has offered the use of its Copernicus satellite observation system. That's so local authorities in Turkey can use that satellite system to identify where the damage is, to identify possible people trapped, infrastructure like bridges maybe at the risk of imminently collapsing. Here in Belgium, we had the foreign minister, Heja Labib, offering Belgium's assistance today and extending condolences to the victims of the earthquake. We don't know exactly what that assistance is going to entail. We do know that there are 200 Belgians in that Turkish border region. We don't have any information that any of those Belgians have deceased. But of course, this is a refugee area right on that Turkish-Syrian border. There are lots of refugees on either side of that border, and that is who really could have been very, very affected by this earthquake. And of course, there are already humanitarian relief efforts going on there for those refugees, and that's going to have to spring into a totally different type of operation right now.
Dave, we also had casualties over in Syria after today's quake. Damascus was also struck. The EU and Syria don't have any diplomatic relations given the civil war over the past 10 years. Will any of that aid you outlined be going to Syria?
Yeah, this is what makes this particularly awkward. In the early hours of today, it actually sounded like the death toll was going to be higher in Syria than Turkey. The latest government figures now have that toll in Turkey creeping up. The thing is, they need some kind of state entity to request to activate that EU civil protection mechanism. And who actually controls the state in Syria is an open question. Now, so far, there has been no request from the Turkish government to activate that EU civil protection mechanism, but we were told by the European Commission today that this type of assistance can be done through humanitarian assistance programs, some that are already there on the ground, some that could be sent there. Those types of programs don't need the permission necessarily of the national government. Now, this particular region in northern Syria is largely controlled by rebel forces, and so these governments are going to have to work with those rebel forces in the relief there. But because it's a kind of mixed area with different zones of control, the relief over there is going to be very complicated. Now, Russia has also offered its assistance here, and that could be key because Russia is an ally of Syrian President Assad, and it could be that Russia might have, in the short term, an easier time accessing the country and accessing relationships with the state than Western governments would, than the EU would. But of course, Russia is quite occupied at the moment. But we know that this Syria portion of the earthquake relief is going to be the most complicated part.
We'll see how this pans out. Thank you very much for that, Dave. Dave Keating reporting there for us from Brussels. Now, Turkey is no stranger